So now we become supersonic this time. So hey everybody, this is me, Piglet here, and I'm Sylvester here. We're back from the Muxy Toys. Welcome back to my last play of Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii /PlayStation 2. So last time that we actually did manage to completely done the last nighttime stage in Eggman Land's nighttime level. And also we managed to beat the crap out of Egg Dragoon, and we also managed to did done the first segment of the Dark Gaia's final boss. But this time around though, today, this was supposed to be the finale of the Sonic Unleashed playthrough for the Wii /PlayStation 2 department, is the fact that we're actually going to be taking on the true final boss in Sonic Unleashed, known as Perfect Dark Gaia. According to what if you've been following for the Xbox 360 version, that's how this type is actually named of. So, but usually normally you come across, you're still going to be like facing off against what, I don't know. So anyway, so the entire portion of this fight is basically, it kind of reminds me of something related to Sonic and the Secret Rings. Like you're gonna have to dodge those little his claw attacks and stuff like that. And basically for this fight is pretty simple, very different from the 360 version. You know how in the 360 version, in order to actually take Perfect Dark Gaia down, is to actually take down those little snake slaves to actually just weakening their shield. And then every time when you do that, you have to do like a lot of quick time events. And that's all you do for the 360 version. But this version, however, is actually pretty simple. Basically what you have to do is to actually collect some rings, and then every time when you actually reach up to like let's say 10 amount of rings and stuff like that, that way that will actually give you an ability to actually use the boost gauge. Then you can only just carry like 6 boost segments, just like how it does in the ring levels in the actual daytime levels. So basically the entire portion of this fight is pretty obviously simple. You're just gonna have to press the Y button or shake the Wiimote down if you actually be using the Wiimote and Nunchuck combo. But it's as far as using the GameCube controller, as far as we just notice that all you have to do for this fight here is to actually attack his 6 eyes at first glance, like 3 from the left and then 3 from the right. And then after when you take down 6 of his eyes, his last eye was actually onto his center. So you're gonna have to keep an eye on when his eye was going to open, so that if his eye was opening, then you should able to get a chance to actually dash towards him, and then that way it will actually deal the damage. However, here's the catch though, is that if you're actually trying to actually prepare for it, oh goodness gracious me. Luckily though, the rings did actually count down super slowly, as opposed to the HD version you do have a health meter. But anyway, so the catch is that you're gonna have to dodge a lot of meteors, and if you get knocked over by a meteor, well, you're pretty much gonna be sure that you actually don't get the attack right. So once you attack the 7th and final eyeball, which is kind of disgusting by the way, and yeah, the fight was pretty much over. So, and that's basically it for Sonic Unleashed for Nintendo Wii /PlayStation 2. And yes, you get a rank at the end, unlike the HD version, you get a cutscenes. And then we'll meet again with this revolting green blood out of it. Good grief. But anyway, let's just enjoy the ending to Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii /PlayStation 2, and also 360 and PS3 version, because the ending is pretty much exactly the same. Now, here's the thing on the HD version of Sonic Unleashed, is that in order to actually get the 7th coordinates connect together, you have to fight against with Dark Gaia again. But in this version, you actually connect the 7th and final coordinates actually attached to it. So, yeah, it's kind of weird to actually just, you know. And the planet Earth is now fully restored.
Pleasant morning, wouldn't you say, Doctor? You can simply begin your plans anew. Even if all of your efforts this last time were utterly wasted, even if it was a complete and utter humiliating loss, even the most pathetic loser in all the world will have this chance
The light reigns over darkness, and the world is returned to peace. It's simply a miracle. We've been saved by a miracle.
I told you, didn't I? There was no way Sonic would let something like that happen.
And right you were. Still, we cannot live without the night. We all must sleep. We all must rest. Darkness is a part of our world, just the same as light. It may be that the darkness has not been destroyed, but merely laid to rest. It grows strong over the eons, rises up, then is put to slumber by the light. Perhaps that is the true balance of dark and light Gaia. That balance may be the very will of the planet itself.
Save the speech for later. We've got to get things ready for Sonic's coming home party!
Sonic. Sonic, you must live.
Chip?
Now we have ourselves the final cutscene in the game. And this scene is very similar to how it does in the beginning, but in daytime formation, and, well, just Sonic the Hedgehog on its own, rather than just, you know, a Werehog powers.
Ow!
Oh, here's Chip. But there is his ring.
I'll never forget you. I'll be here by you, always. A part of the earth you tread.
And then Sonic's gonna wear that from, even then it kind of reminds me like he was achieving the bounce bracelet from Sonic 06. But still, it kind of reminds me of that. At least Tails is fine though.
Hey, Sonic!
So yeah, that was it for Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii / PlayStation 2, aka Sonic Unleashed SD version, because of the, well, usually the differences between these 4 versions, well, between 2 on 2 is the fact that quality is different, and also the gameplay, although the gameplay itself is pretty much similar to how it does in the 360 and PS3 version, but the amount of content is actually quite different compared to between the 4. So, yeah, what do we think overall of Sonic Unleashed of the Nintendo Wii and PS2? Well, I'm gonna say though that I much rather prefer the HD version in my opinion, just because although I've heard from a lot of critics think that the Wii version and PS2 version were a good success for that time. So, yeah, as far as when I'm concerned, that it's actually not a bad game by any means. It's actually really good for the most part. But from what I've played the HD version, mostly the 360 version and PS3 version, that somehow I managed to prefer those over the Wii version and PS2 version for me, because obviously the only negative things I can think of about this is that once again I have to point out from the HD versions that the Werehog was a bit unnecessary to actually put that in at first glance anyway. But I mean, it's not awful by any means, it's a little bit too complicated, let's say the least. But at least we actually have some positive things we can think of, like the music, once again, much like the HD version of Sonic Unleashed. That is actually really remarkable. Well, except for 1 or 2 might have missed music, like I absolutely despise the battle theme music for the Werehog because it is so repetitive. Although it's a bit catchy at first, but the more you actually get into the latest nighttime stages, it gets even repetitive every once in a while. But still, you can't really seem to actually just to complain the composers for the musicians for this game in particular. So another thing that's worth a problem I found from it is the fact that sometimes the jumps, especially in the daytimes, Sonic's jump momentum is actually a little bit too stiff in my eyes, because sometimes that I actually over times, although it might as well be super smooth from what I've noticed that, but sometimes that it constantly screwed me over if I actually do some really tough platforming segments rather than certain daytime levels. Although sometimes though, it's also the same with likes of the Werehog department as well, it's particularly if you actually come across into a very small dangerous platforms that you have to jump over, and sometimes it always happens. And also I found the hub world in this version of the game is a little bit too plain, or in this case blurred, I have to say, because it's all about main menu clicking department right there. Although it's kind of fast though, kind of think about it, but at the same time, I much rather prefer the hub world in the 360 version in my eyes, because obviously you can actually talk to some people, and not to mention the visuals in the hub world between these 4 versions, well 2 on 2, but I have to say again, that on the 360 and PS3 versions actually fully rendered, and in this version it gets like a cardboard cutout versions. But anyway, another thing I have to point out is the fact that the Empire City, especially the Missouri stages, are not included in the Wii version and the PS2 version because they for some reason cut that out. But we do have a really excellent music that's been playing, like you saw in a second ago, which was Endless Possibilities, which I kind of wish if that music will actually come to Super Smash Bros. 4 or something. Although, did they have that music on the Super Smash Bros. 4, I'm presuming? Although, granted, it doesn't include it in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because this game came out at the end of 2008, and then Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out in the middle of 2008. But even then though, between these 2 games, they are almost 10 years old until when it gets to 2018, of course. So anyway, so regardless of these missing features, and not to mention the Werehog is a bit unnecessary, well thankfully though, you don't have to do the medal collecting unlike the 360 version. You have to collect as much medals as you can, especially sun medals and moon medals, because if you don't collect enough of those medals, you won't able to proceed unless you collect enough. But another thing is what I have to point this out for last is the fact that this version doesn't contain DLC. Although I understand because since the 360 and PS3 versions are considerably more powerful engine than the ones in the Wii version and PS2 version. Although granted, the Wii does have online, but not anymore nowadays because Nintendo Wi-Fi connection shut down. And as well as the PS2 also has online, sometimes have some online games on there, but sometimes more common that it doesn't have any, so yeah. So apart from these negatives aside, it was a really good version just for me anyway. I won't say it's my favorite version of Sonic Unleashed because my favorite will still have to be the 360 version because of how the daytime stages is actually super fast paced. Sometimes controlling issues can be a bit off in the 360 version I find, but it's not too bad nonetheless. And also the 360 and PS3 version actually has DLC content, which sure enough though, that Duffy might actually go ahead and go back into Sonic Unleashed for the 360, although he won't do a redo playthrough for the time being because, well, the next thing the Sonic Unleashed has to offer will have to be the DLC content, which that might be entertaining for Duffy to do with, so... But we don't exactly know when this is gonna come up. I think probably we might actually say right now that I think it will be about to be revealed until sometime in November. Alongside with some other playthroughs that we need to finish though. Including Piglet still needs to be finishing off Sonic Rivals 2 now. Because, well, obviously he finishes New Super Mario Bros. 2 now. So, yeah. So yeah, I guess that was about it basically. Then that's about it for a playthrough of Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii /PlayStation 2. Originally I was gonna do all of the versions in Sonic Unleashed, but I won't exactly going to do the PS2 version because it's exactly the same as the Wii version, but minus with like the Wii version actually has a widescreen support, and I don't know about the PS2 version doesn't have a widescreen support, which for what I've heard it doesn't, so that's kind of pointless, the PS2 runners. But I found the visuals in the Wii version of the SD version of Sonic Unleashed, sorry for my little accent issues. Sonic Unleashed for the Wii, visuals speaking, is actually a little bit better than the PS2 version to me anyway, because sometimes though that I found the character models in the PS2 version look exactly more like the Nintendo 64 title for me. Or perhaps maybe it's just a little bit of a, too much of a noticeable opinions of it. Oh please, don't show that disgusting transformation again, please. Please, cut this off. Cut this off, please. Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick. I guess they sort of not to do that. Oh, thank God. But anyway, so, yeah, without being said though, that I think that's about it for Let's Play of Sonic Unleashed from Nintendo Wii /PlayStation 2, as we said. So yeah, I'll let you guys enjoy this little credit sequence right there. I really love this theme music that's been playing as well during the staff credits as well. Obviously there's endless possibilities, which I found in that music really catchy. As well as I can't remember what this theme song is actually called though. I'll let you guys know in the comments below what song this was actually called. But recently we haven't looked up on music playlists for a long time. So I'm afraid that we can't discuss that. So yeah. So yeah, that was about it basically. So yeah, I'll let you enjoy the credit sequence right here. So this is me, Piglet, and Sylvester here from the Moxie Toys. And until then, take care, and yeah, see you guys then. Bye.